In a quiet village lived two brothers, Michael and Andrew. Michael was a hard-working man, a lecturer who spent years building his career and earning every penny. Andrew, his younger brother, was known throughout the village as a wayward person. He spent money recklessly, mostly on drinking and chasing after women. Despite his brother's efforts, Andrew showed no interest in changing his ways. Michael loved his brother and wanted to help him succeed. Over the years, he tried to set Andrew up with different businesses. For times, he gave Andrew money to start something on his own. But each time, Andrew wasted the money, and the businesses failed before they even started. Andrew's irresponsible behavior left Michael in debt, as he had borrowed money to support his brother. One day, Andrew went to their mother, complaining that Michael had refused to give him any more money. Their mother, who had a soft spot for Andrew, became angry. She immediately called Michael and demanded that he come home for a family meeting that weekend. That Sunday evening, Michael sat in the living room with his mother and Andrew. After their mother finished her prayers, she turned to Michael. "Why have you refused to help your only brother, Michael?" she asked, her voice filled with disappointment. Michael sighed deeply and began to explain. "Mom, I've tried to help Andrew so many times. I've given him money for business 4 times, but each time, he wasted it. I'm now in debt because of him, and there's nothing to show for all the help I've given." Before Michael could finish, Andrew rudely interrupted. "Stop telling stories that everyone already knows, Michael," he said, rolling his eyes. Their mother, siding with Andrew, cut Michael off. "Michael, the purpose of this meeting is to move forward, not to dwell on the past. Andrew is your brother, and it's your duty to help him. Do you want to see your mother in pain? Don't you remember how your late father and I struggled to put you through school?" She broke down in tears. "May your father's soul rest in peace." Seeing his mother in tears, Michael felt a wave of pity wash over him. "Mom, stop crying. What do you want us to do now?" His mother turned to Andrew. "Andrew, what do you want?" Andrew cleared his throat. "I need 20 million naira for a new business plan." Michael's eyes widened in shock. "My God! Where do you expect me to get that kind of money?" But with the pressure from his mother and Andrew, Michael reluctantly agreed to find the money, even though he didn't have it. His plan was to borrow it from his wife, who worked as a bank manager. Andrew and their mother were overjoyed, but Michael was deeply troubled. As he agreed, he silently swore that once this was over, he would never answer Andrew's calls or get involved with his mother's request again. The following Friday, Michael's phone rang repeatedly. It was Andrew calling. Annoyed and assuming it was another demand for money, Michael refused to pick up. The phone rang 10 times, but Michael ignored it, convinced Andrew was only calling to ask for more. What Michael didn't know was that Andrew had been in a terrible accident with some friends. He had been stabbed and was bleeding heavily. The only phone number Andrew could remember was Michael's. He needed help, but without Michael's answer, there was no one to come to his aid. The doctors at the hospital demanded money to begin treatment, but with no one to provide it, Andrew bled to death. Early the next morning, Michael's phone rang again. This time, it was his mother. Prepared to argue, Michael picked up the call, but he was stopped short by the sound of crying in the background. His mother's voice was filled with sorrow. "Michael, Andrew has left us, just like your father did." Michael couldn't believe what he was hearing. His heart dropped as he realized that Andrew's calls the day before were not about money, but a desperate plea for help, perhaps even for forgiveness. His mother explained that Andrew, in his final moments, had asked the doctor to beg Michael for forgiveness. Michael broke down in tears. The guilt of not answering his brother's calls weighed heavily on him. He kept thinking, if only I had picked up, Andrew might still be alive. I wish I had forgiven him when I had the chance. From that day on, Michael carried the heavy burden of regret. He shared his story with anyone who would listen, urging them to forgive their loved ones, especially their family. Once they're gone, he would say, you can never see them again. And so, Michael lived the rest of his life with the painful lesson that while money can be lost and regained, the chance to forgive and love those closest to you is a treasure that should never be taken for granted.